I'm back, and hopefully this is right way up for you now this time around. If it's not, we're just going to continue on, but according to my computer, we are correct. We are good to go. So that's good. I'm Lillian Camp of Stampers Niche. I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Spruce Grove, Alberta, Canada. And I'd like to thank you for visiting, and I invite you to click the like button or follow, subscribe, depending on what platform you're viewing this on. But I really appreciate you being interested and that you give me feedback. So I love the comments as well. So fire me off a comment when you can, and I will try to get back to you. Those of you who know me and who follow me know that I do not verbally respond to your comments because I get sidetracked and lose my train of thought, but I definitely will comment and interact with you on the comment section once this is over. Now, I have a few things to talk about, and then we're going to do Create With Me, which is always a huge hit. First off, if you have any bonus coupons, remember they have to be used before the end of August. If you have them and don't know how to use them, do message me or email me and we can chat and set that up. You just don't want to miss out on any free stuff, right? And I'm going to talk more about this at the end, but starting today, Stamping Staycation is accepting registrations. So, well, why don't I talk about it right now? Stamping Staycation, what is it? It's an online creative retreat. It is all day long on September the 12th, but because it's online, if you are busy September 12th, you can take part and do it whenever the time works for you. The other thing is you can do it wherever you are. Last time we held this, and it was a huge hit, we had people doing it in their pajamas from the comfort of their home. We had people doing it at their cabin. We had people in at least one other country doing it. It's open to whoever. There are well over 5 hours of stamping instruction and creativity happening. So you might even want to space it out and make it last longer. You know how it is when you've got a delicious chocolate bar and you take one piece now and then save a piece for a little bit later. Well, I'm not always successful at that. But anyway, we encourage you to register. It's $47, and between now and September the 9th, anyone who shares one of my posts, whether it's a Facebook Live or just a post from my Facebook page, you will be entered into a draw to receive a Stamping Staycation registration free. If you've already registered and paid it, you will get reimbursed. But here is the thing to just remind you of. When you share one of my Facebook posts, which I absolutely love, please make a comment that you shared it, because many of you, I can't tell who has shared unless I happen to see it. So please let me know that you have shared, and then you will be entered into a draw for Stamping Staycation. Just a little heads up. It's a wonderful, wonderful event. We love doing it, and from all the responses we got, everybody loved taking part. So, moving on to Create With Me. I suggested that you have a piece of cardstock, 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. That's this piece here. So this will be your card base, and we will line up the edges and use the bone folder and fold that right now. Then a piece of colored cardstock. So this will coordinate with whatever ink you're using. So this is going to be 3 3/4 by 3 1/2 of colored cardstock. I'm going to put that there. Then you need a piece of, I'm using Whisper White. So if you were using very vanilla, it would, whatever your base is, this is what we're going to do our stamping on. And mine is 4 1/4 by 3. And then I'm also using a scrap piece of that. So let's get started. I'm going to use a floral image that has also some words with it. It's called Field of Flowers. It's from the annual catalog. And I'm going to use this flower here, the stem, and I think I'll use Thinking of You. So let's just mount those right now. When I am mounting photopolymer stamps, I always find it good to put the stamp down and then pick it up with my block. Why do I do that? The reason is if I'm doing this, I could twist this and it wouldn't be the shape that it's meant to be. So I'm trying to get in the habit of doing that. Some of them it really wouldn't matter. They are pretty solid, but some, so for example, this Thinking of You, it would be very easy to bend this. And in this case, I will even line it up on my grid paper to keep it nice and straight and pick it up that way. And I got it on my block crooked because I don't have my head right over top. So I'm going to bring it a little closer. Some people don't mind it on their block crooked, but for me, I find it easier to, you know what? I just saw that little dragonfly. I love that dragonfly. I'm going to use it to bring that back in and pick it up as well. Okay, I've got my stamps mounted. I'm going to bring in the piece that we're going to stamp on here. And I see many of you jumping on board here and some of you sharing. That's excellent. Thank you for letting me know. I love that. You are such good listeners. Okay, because I'm stamping and my grid paper is white and this paper is white, I like to tuck this underneath. I can still see my lines through it, but it gives me the contrast. So I am going to this time bring in Rococo Rose, and when I show you what I did before, I used a different color. The first thing I'm going to do is ink up the flower stamp here and put it right about there. Now I haven't made this with the Rococo Rose. Ooh, I like it a lot. This is such a pretty flower, and you can ink it up like this, or you could stamp it off and then add some lights and darks either with your markers or a sponge. I'm going to keep that open. Now, according to the color chart, the coordinating green is mint macaron. We will see if I like that. Now the stems, I just am going to line them up so they hit the flowers. I think that's pretty good. Let's see what mint, ooh, yes, they are right. I should trust them. Do you ever find that you just don't trust them? You go, oh, I don't know if that's going to be exciting enough. And while we have our colors out, I'm going to do the little dragonfly, and I'm going to have him be just a smidge lighter flying up here. So I stamped it off, stamped the dragonfly off once, so he's just a tone lighter there. And while I've got the mint macaron out, I'm going to bring my scrap paper in and stamp Thinking of You on that. So I'll have all of my stamping done. So let's try to make this straight without getting my head in the camera. And it isn't straight, so I'm going to bring it closer so I can see a little better. Oh, that's much better. There we go. So now I've got my stamping done. You guys are going to be amazed at how simple this card is. I'll move that out of the way. Now I have this, whoops, I don't have my stamping done. I got ahead of the game. Now you could do a couple of things here. This is going to fit under here, so just these two edges are going to show. You could leave it as is. You could run it through an embossing folder, or you could take your flowers and just stamp tone on tone there. And just like this, and do it that way. So I'm doing it, and you're saying, when you're on your silicone mat, Lillian, well, yes, it will, the ink will bead up on my silicone mat. I'll just wash it afterwards, and it's no sweat. The main thing I have to remember is not to put anything in it. All right, so I've got it like that. Get this out of the way, and notice I didn't do anything there because it's just going to be covered. So it will look like that. I could also have brought in an embossing folder and done that, but oh, I see a little gap there. I think I am going to bring this back in and stamp one more time. And I'm just going to catch the edge. Now, see this? Do you see that there? That's because I was going off the edge. So you always re-ink, because you would have, let me just show you on scrap paper. That would be a funny stamp. You'd have light and dark because you have the edge of your paper. So if you're stamping off the edge, which always gives a really nice effect, you do want to re-ink in between. That's just a little tip. Now, I don't want much here, but just a little bit. There we go. I'm happy with that. And of course, I could do the stamping on the inside too. We'll come back to that after. So that's going to look like that. So let's make sure my fingers are clean. I'm just trying, the reason I'm hesitating is I'm wondering if I should show you it through the new die cutting machine, and I think I will. I will bring the new stamping cut and emboss machine in here. And for those of you who watched my intro video, you know the steps here, but if you didn't, this shows you all the steps, and we want to emboss. So with a standard embossing folder, this is the sandwich, but we're going to use, where is it here now? We are going to use, believe it or not, the Seabed embossing folder, and this is a 3D one. So what we need to do is just the card or the platform, and then number 4. Number 4 is this here. It's got the number on it. If you have the old blue embossing plate, it's the same one. So let's try it on this side, and then we can decide which way we want to go. So let's put it in here. Put it so the fold goes in first. At one point years ago, they used to say last, but no, it makes more sense. And listen how quiet, I'll be quiet. Listen how quietly this goes through. Isn't that slick? It's sort of smooth as butter. It's really, really great. So let's move that out of the way and take that apart. Get that out of the way. All right, so now you would be able to see if we built our card like this, it would be embossed underneath. If we built our card like this, it would be stamped, and today also embossed or debossed. So it's going to look like that today, but those are just a couple of different options. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick this down, and if you like to be really particular, you can use your grid paper and get this centered. So it's 1, 2, that. So I've got 1, 2 3/4 inches on this side from this thick line, and 1, 2 3/4. So that is the halfway mark. Then if I want to center this, I want space at the top, space at the bottom, but centered here. I'm going to use my grid paper again. So this is 1 3/4, 1 3/4. Okay, so because I tend to forget, I'm going to make little marks, 1 3/4, and that's where I want to line it up. That's just going to help me once I get my glue on. Okay, now I'll put my adhesive on the back, and when I've got something embossed, I do like to use the liquid glue because it gets down in the cracks. And I'm doing this, of course, right down on the card base, like this. I'm just curious, what is your favorite Stampin' Up! Color? Or are you like me? Do you switch it around a little bit? I'd have to say my overall favorite is likely Coastal Cabana, but boy, my colors switch around a lot. So leave a comment. Tell me what your favorite Stampin' Up! Color is. And maybe tell me one that you don't use very often. And sometimes I think, okay, what haven't I used? And make myself use it. And I think, oh, why haven't I used it? I love it. But I get in a rut. So what's your favorite color, and what's one that you haven't used in a while? So now this is going to be fastened on, and it is going to go top to bottom. Let me just flip it over. It is the same as the card base. So when you're putting it down, you want to go top to bottom and try to leave relatively even borders, which I'm not doing right there. Let's shift it over. It's why you don't push things down right at the beginning. And let's see, that's likely as good as I'm going to get. Put it down like that. There. Now we are going to bring in, well, first off, where did I put my stamped Thinking of You? I know that I did it. When I brought my Big Shot in, I shifted stuff around and it's disappeared on me. Well, while I am getting my eyes adjusted, I can always grab another piece of paper. I am going to, no, I need it now. Is it tucked in with the Big Shot? No, I'll just bring in another piece of paper. And you likely can't hear me very well, but because I know Thinking of You is pretty narrow, and if I remember correctly, it was about that wide. I will, maybe that's a little skimpy. Let's go for 1/2 inch. Nothing like winging it on camera. There we go. You know, as soon as I get this done, I will find my stamped one, won't I? That's okay. This is what happens when you're crafting. And I'll bring in this again, and I better turn this over because it's all inky. Line it up, and we'll stamp Thinking of You one more time. Thinking of You, and we used mint macaron. And let's hope we can get this somewhat straight. There we go. Alrighty. I think it's a smidge wider than the last one, but it will work. What I'm going to do now is just, I could use my paper trimmer, but sometimes you can just wing it like that. And we've got it trimmed down. And what we're going to do with this is put it here, somewhere like there. And that's just a bit too wide. Let me trim it down a little bit more. Now, if you ever decide this, here's a little trick. It's hard to hang on to, right? Bring in a Post-it note and just hold it down, and you can trim it down like that. And I like that much better. There we go. And I got that a little crooked. This is definitely Create With Me, right? All right, so I want some of this below it. So I'm going to use my seal, Stampin' Seal, and just put a little bit of sticky down there. Then I'm going to take this, and I absolutely love this. It's part of a ribbon combo. Oh, I should have looked up what it was. Ribbon combo. It's Forever. I think it's from the Forever Greenery suite. So I'm just going to do like a figure 8, like that, and it's going to go under. Is it going to show? Yeah. I will clip that off now, and there are a couple of reasons why I love this. One is it's easy to handle, but then it frays beautifully. So I just did like a figure 8. Now I'm going to give one twist and stick it in there. And there's going to be more here, so not to worry. I'm just working on placement. It's a bit low, so I'm going to angle it up a little bit so it doesn't get caught off the card. There we go. Then I'm going to bring in some of the Rococo Rose ribbons. Once again, the glory of Stampin' Up! Product is it all coordinates, it all works together. So there, I think I'm going to angle this just a bit more. Well, that didn't work well. I kept it the same. And I'm going to stick that down. And I find it easier with ribbon just to put some glue dots on it. So let's see here. The grandkids were into this yesterday, into my glue dots. So hopefully, yeah, I can find them. Grandson decided he should fix the bow and use a clothespin, and he was rearranging things, so I had to say, well, that's lovely, but it doesn't work for me. I prefer the bow because it slides. Okay, so I'm just putting the ribbon over top of that. You see how it's fraying already? And all you have to do is just give it a little spin, or you could put your end of take your pick tool or your scissors in there, and it just looks all feathery. Now what I'm going to do is straighten that out and put this on top. And I am going to use my mini dimensionals here because these are so tiny. And like that. Oh, I'll put one in the middle too. And just use take your pick tool to peel off those backings. And some of you have been saying that my voice gets loud and soft, and so I'm checking out, trying to get a lapel microphone. So we'll see how that works. You'll have to keep me posted as to how things work out. Then I just want a little bit of embellishment, and I am going to bring in the metallic pearls. They come in silver or gold, but because we've used the gold twine here, I'm going to use the gold and just, oh, I'll put one here, and one, where will I put it? One on the flower, and I need one more. You know, gotta do 3 odd numbers. And this is what I love, the take your pick tool, because you can travel around your workspace. Oh, I'll put it here. Now that card is basically finished. I can do the inside with the same images, or even just the little dragonfly. And maybe I should do that right now before I forget. It's always nice to have a card ready to go. And this way I can just stamping the dragonfly off. I can add my own greeting when the time is ready. There, so and I think I will add one more thing, and then stay tuned because I'm going to show you some other variations. I love a little wink of Stella, so I am just going to wink of Stella, dragonfly. Wink of Stella just adds a little bit of shimmer, and I don't know if you can see that, but it would add a little sparkle there. So there's a very simple Create With Me card layout. Now let me show you what else I've done. So earlier I made this one. It's the same card. I did not stamp in the background. I only used an embossing folder, and here I used the ornate flower, and I used Calypso Coral as my colors. So the exact same card, just different colors. The inspiration for these cards came from this one here. This was done on very vanilla using the Forever Greenery with gold foil in the background. And again, this was the Forever Greenery ribbon combo. So this comes with it. So those are the two ribbons. This was cased from a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator named Mary Fish. And so just showing you how you can take one layout and start to come up. Now here's another layout. This one, instead of using a border down here, I used snowflakes here and turned it into a Christmas card. So can you imagine how many different ways you can take this card layout? And of course, you could always turn it this way and just adjust your measurements and make a card as well. This is not quite the same. This was cased from the mini catalog, but I could have done this piece this way, and I could have flipped the order, I guess is what I'm trying to say. This was cased from page 72 of the mini catalog, but the same type of idea. So I hope that inspires you. Oh, I have one more thing to show you with this stamp set here. I used it on this card in the purples, and that turned out really neat. Oh, and I still have another idea which I didn't finish, but I was working on, so the same piece of paper, but using the gold hoop as a, well, there's some, as a wreath base. And so when I get this done, I will post it. And then putting some leaves on it and making a fall wreath arrangement. And I had some more leaves somewhere, so, but I've lost them in the process here. I'm losing a lot of things today, but I think you can see that you could start to play there. I will post that once I've got it done. It's just in my head right now, and it's not done. So have some fun with this Create With Me project. I love when you share what you've done, so please do that. If you want to shop online, here is your current hostess code. And just before you go, the people who shared last week, I have put your names in here. Now, there were more shares, but I could not see who you were. So please, that is why I need you to let me know that you've shared. And I've seen, like, Rhonda put down, shared it. That's all you need to do in the comments. You put that in the comments, then I know who you are. So let's pull out one from here. And it is Sheila. So Sheila, coming your way will be the 2020-2022 In Color Enamel Dots. And thank you for sharing last week. All right, everyone. Stay tuned. More information about Stampin' Staycation, contact me. It's a really fun day that you can do whenever you want. So, and remember, if you share, you get entered as well for this. So take care, have fun, happy creating. Bye-bye.